Welcome back to Podcast Recovery, everyone. We are your hosts, David O.
And Eric B.
Today we are joined by Andy.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Not too bad, thank you.
And where are you from, Andy?
I'm from a place called Derby, but you probably call it Derby over there in England.
I think we would, actually. If the spelling is the way I think it is.
D-E-R-B-Y?
Yeah, you pronounce it Derby over here.
Okay, now I've learned something.
Yeah.
I think we both have. Fantastic. And when were you first introduced to recovery?
I remember with my gambling and stuff like that. I remember going to the first GA meeting in June of 2007, Gamblers Anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
When I first properly
All right.
worked out what recovery was.
Nice. And how long have you been abstinent from gambling?
I've not had a bet since the 14th of April 2007, so we're talking nearly 12 and a half years now.
Woo, that's impressive. All right. Well, with all that out of the way, we're going to turn the mic over to you to share your story with us, so take it away.
Yeah, no problem. Obviously, a long, harrowing story, really. First started gambling when I was about in my teens, 12, 13. My granddad used to like a bet on the horses.
Mm-hmm.
My dad did as well. And kind of like a family tradition. My dad still does have a gamble on the horses. I was about 13, 14. There's a massive race in England called the Grand National over fences in Liverpool. And it's a bit of the whole nation has a bit of a bet on it, place a bet on it. So kind of like all I did was like pick out the nice name or the fancy silks on the jockey. 25 pence each way on a horse and things like that, and I was kind of like got interested in it really, just following in my dad's footsteps, just having a like 50p here and there, £1 here and there. Got to about 14, I qualified as a football referee or a soccer referee to you guys. So instead of like doing a paper round, that was too much like hard work. In the morning or in the evenings. Something I loved was football, so I thought I'm going to earn a bit of money. I was never going to be a professional football player like say 99% of lads' dreams at my age are over here in the UK. But I started refereeing, so just refereeing like kids' games and stuff and all that. I was earning a bit of money with that as well. So back in the early mid-90s, I was doing like 3 or 4 games in a week. So I was earning like 30, 40 quid. So that was quite impressive back then for a young lad of 14, 15. So I started to have a bit of a bet every Saturday, have like a multiple bet, like a combination bet. It's like flags and round robins over here. So you have like pick 3 or 4 horses in 3 or 4 different races and just trying to hopefully if they place or win or whatever and try and win a few quid. No massive stakes, talking like 50p, £1, £52. Started progress to like the bigger meetings in the UK, so like the better class racing and things and all that lot, and started to enjoy that. Just nothing major. Following Dad's footsteps, went to 1 or 2 meetings in the UK as well. Just enjoy the atmosphere of it really. I'd have a dabble on the fruit machines as well. Basically slots to you guys. Yeah. Over here, you get them everywhere, in pubs, clubs, anywhere. Fruit machines can go, chip shops, takeaways and things and all that lot.
Is gambling legal in England?
For under 18s? Yeah. For like fruit, you have like like seaside resorts in the UK. You have similar ones. Like where you have like the penny shovers and things and all that lot. Yeah, we have them over here, but you have like different category arcade machines and fruit machines over here in the UK. So the category D ones have like £5 jackpots, and legally a person under 18 can have a go on them. Wow. Yeah. I think we're the only country in the world that you can do that. So there's a lot of debate around that over here at the minute in the UK. Anyway, I'm probably digressing a bit, but yeah. I'd have a go on the fruit machines and stuff. My refereeing career was like taking off a bit, so I was doing like better standard of football, earning a bit more money. had part-time work, going through college as well. Worked at McDonald's. First ever job was in McDonald's. Best ever job I ever had. Such a laugh and things and all like that. Started to buy like nice clothes and things. Got in a good group of mates. We started to play cards at college and stuff for like 5-10 p's and stuff. About the only time I was really happy with losing, because you didn't want to carry all that change around, really. But we're playing games called Free Card Brag. I don't know if you know that over there. It's like a different variation of poker, really, and things and all like that. But it's quite quick. But we're playing like different games, just having a laugh on a Friday night. Whoever's parents are out when we're 16, 17, we'll power around the house with cans of beer, cider, you name it, we drank it, and play cards until the early hours. Order a kebab or a Chinese takeaway in or something like that. And then the Saturday we'd be going out on the lash, getting hammered in the city centre, trying to pull and fail miserably, try and pull girls and stuff and all that. But it was the best times of my life, really. My gambling was totally under control. I was not interested in like spending loads on it. We were going away on lads' holidays, similar to like your spring break over there. We'd have like during the 6 weeks holidays like from school and college or whatever. We'd try and get away as a group of lads, go to Ibiza, Magaluf in Mallorca, Greece, Calvos and stuff, like all the hot spots in Europe.
That
like,
sounds way better than like an American spring break.
Yeah,
we go to the beach.
We get fortnight. We have a thing called like Club 1830. So no one over the age of 30 could stay in like the hotel or something and all that lot. To be honest, I don't think anyone over the age of 30 wouldn't stay in the hotels we stayed in, to be fair.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Proper shitholes. But we weren't there for like, accommodation. We were there to just get hammered and see if we can pull or whatever and stuff and all that. Like, we were just having a laugh and a joke, really, and best times of my life.
Oh, yeah.
But my gambling was absolutely fine. Still gambling on the horses. Yeah, mistakes got a bit higher, but nothing major. Have a bit of a bet on the football when it was a World Cup or the European Championships. Bets between friends, having a blast on the fruities and stuff and all that, but nothing major. Started to grow up a bit. Got a decent job. There's a factory just down the road in Derbyshire we've got a Toyota plant near us, and I managed to get a job there at 22. Earning very good money. That was like early 2002. I got that. So met my wife Becky, who's still with me now. Bless her. Earning decent jobs. So met a girl, fall in love. Classic love story. We bought a house together, like a little 2 up, 2 down terrace house, Victorian terrace house. I don't know if you've ever been to the UK, but I'd imagine our houses are a lot smaller than your houses over there, to be fair.
Yeah.
But we had a perfect little place. It was really nice. Got all the original features. Obviously asked her to marry me, and she said yes. My gambling was still fine. Nothing massive. Then we got married, and I got kind of like... I remember the day we got married, because I did a thing, how favours. My wife did pound lottery tickets, and I did what we did. It was a big race meeting on the day we got married, and I went down the local bookies and put £1 on every horse for the blokes. So she did the lottery tickets for the girls, and did £1 on every horse in the race. It worked out about 30 runners or something like that in this race. And I remember during the speech, his dad came up to me and he goes, that horse that you picked, the horse won at 100 to 1. So he had to quickly go to the cash point, pay out the £100 to this guy, and then go and collect it the next day. So quite a funny little story, that, really.
Yeah.
But all the tables were named after old racehorses and stuff as well. So it's kind of like a gambling theme to it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But obviously went on honeymoon, come back, and got introduced to playing poker, Texas Hold'em poker online. Played a few free games, and I thought, you know what? It might while away the hours when I'm like shift work and I'm like on my own and stuff like that. So I started to have a bit of a dabble, just like deposited like 10, 20 quid. Nothing massive at all. I was just buying into the tournaments, so just like not like playing every hand like cash. Won a tournament, then won another. I thought I'm getting really good at this. Won about 20 tournaments online. Nothing, not like massive amounts. I think the most one was like $2,000 because it worked out in the US dollars and stuff like that. But I thought, yeah, I'm getting really good at this. The stakes were starting to increase at the horses as well. So instead of like a couple of quids here or there, we were talking like 10, 20 quid a race. So it's all affordable and stuff and all that. I remember the time where I started like, all right, I'm going to start playing for like cash tables now. And I started like losing quite heavily. I thought, oh no, started chasing. So I was like 50 to 100 quid a hand, and I was getting quite sidetracked with time as well. I was started to plan when I could gamble for how long I could gamble, because I worked shifts at the time, so it was 2 weeks of days, 2 weeks of night shifts. So when I was on days, I was like planning what time I could go to bed, and then the minimum amount of time I could go to sleep for have sleep and get back up for work the next day. And then same reverse on nights, because I was left on my own on nights because my wife worked office hours, 9 to 5 work. I was getting up at like, after getting home about 6 in the morning, getting back up for like 9:30 and staying up throughout the day, just gambling, not eating and anything like that. And I was like really hammering it. Started to run out of money. I applied for a credit card, got that, because in the summer of I'd say about 2006, you could get credit. 2005, 2006, you can get credit easy. It's pre-crash, pre the financial world crash and everything like that. And got a three grand limit straight away. Did that in weeks. Got another credit card, same limit. Did it again. Third credit card, same limit. Did it again, and then I just did it again. Then with a fourth credit card. Then I was going into my overdraft and stuff, and I thought, shit, I need to get myself out of this shit here with a loan. Went down the bank one Friday afternoon in Derby City Centre. Got 15 grand loan. Just as you do as an addict.
Yeah.
You lie, bullshit. Well, yes, buying a new car or spending it on a holiday. And I remember coming out with this 15 grand loan. I asked them for $1,000 in cash as a parting kind of thing, like, if you know what I mean. Drew $1,000 out over the counter, and I went straight to the bookmakers opposite, and we have like fixed odds betting terminal machines over in the UK, and I put $1,000 in that and lost it in 45 minutes.
Wow.
They weren't really my thing either. I just wanted to go on it. You could play roulette at £100 a spin back then, and it was just, I just regretted it away. Felt soulless and empty, and went straight to work. Not bad at what if, so obviously start chasing and stuff. Cleared all my debts, cleared all my credit cards, then 1 credit card, 2 credit cards, 3 credit cards, 4, maxed them out again. Repeated, went got a 15 grand loan from somewhere else within months, got that as well because it was easy to get credit. Clear my debt again. This is you're talking like early 2006. 1 credit card, 2 credit cards, 3 credit cards, 4, all maxed out again. I was just letting it take over my life. I was playing pure cash tables. I was playing like blackjack on the side at £100 a hand as well. I was just like trying to play 2-3 games at once, just chasing money. It was never enough when I got a win. All the way throughout this time, I never withdrew my cash once what I won, any times, including when I won the 20 tournaments. I let it sit there, kept reverse withdrawing. So I was like, I can't get any more unsecured credit anymore. Thought, I can secure it to the house. This is July 2006, and I managed to get accepted for the loan, but my wife had to be a co-signatory. So I had to lie to my wife and told her, look, they're going to phone you up, but it's only going to the terms for £5,000. lying to her. Says I could have had 15 grand, but I'm being responsible. I only need 5. Bullshit that was. But she bought it. She took it on and everything like that. And got a 15 grand loan secured to the house. So I've got 45 grand's worth of debt now. In credit.
And that's in like two years, right?
Yeah, in just under 2 years. Yeah.
Wow.
And I cleared the debts. I thought, right, this is it now. Can't do it again. Went on holiday to Portugal. Come back. 1 credit card, 2 credit card, 3 credit card, 4. Maxed them out again. This is talking like Christmas 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is where my wife was heavily pregnant, 6 months pregnant by then. 5-6 months pregnant. And I've got a baby on the way.
Mm.
So I've got 45 grand of debt in credit card, in loans. I've got about 12 grand, 13 grand of debt in credit cards. And I've got a couple of grand in overdraft as well. So you're talking 60, 65k.
Yeah.
January 2007. Thought, this is it. You have New Year's resolution. I can't do this anymore. I was starting to have like panic attacks.
Mm-hmm.
I was putting that much pressure on myself. I wasn't sleeping, weren't eating right. Horribly unhealthy. I was ratty. I was a horrible person.
Mm-hmm.
If someone told me the grass was green, I'd tell them it was fucking blue. I was that kind of person.
Mm.
If you can relate to that.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was so low, down and out of it, wanted to run away and stuff. I'd have a couple of weeks off, feeling good, yeah. Then payday arrived. All gone again. I was just gambling again.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about light bulb moments in recovery. 14th of April 2007. I just lost another £600 going all in on pocket twos. About 4:30, 4:45 in the morning. On that Saturday morning. Thought, I can't do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Went down to because we had a cellar. Went into the toolbox, got a hammer, and smashed my PC to bits. Absolutely to bits. And my missus come down and she goes, "What are you doing?" "Oh, computer's broke." It fucking is now, to be fair.
Yeah.
But this is awful. I mean, I remember my son being born in the March, and he's 4 days old, and I was taking the opportunity to do the night feeds and have him on my lap while I was gambling. And it was ridiculous. I was like so out of it. I was just like in a complete bubble. Weren't interested in any real life activities. Any food and any food shops or anything like that was like the cheapest we could buy because that was my gambling money. I wanted everything dirt cheap so I could maximise how much I could gamble and what I could gamble with.
Mm-hmm.
But I stopped from that day. Didn't get any help. I was like struggling along. It was getting to a point where I needed to tell my wife. Luckily for me, June 2007, I came back home one Friday afternoon, about 4:00, 4:30. She opened up one of my statements because I was hiding all my letters and stuff and everything anyway. Just hiding them behind cupboards and stuff and all that lot. And she opened up one of my statements. "What's this?" And for the first time, I felt relief. I came clean, told her absolutely everything. Yeah, she was absolutely devastated.
Mm-hmm.
What was weird, I told her all this while I had my 3-month-old son giggling in her arms. Kicked me out that night. What was one of the worst things as well, it was one of my psychological barriers to this day, is I drove back to my mum and dad's, about a 10-15 minute drive.
Mm-hmm.
I used to like radio on the car, CD player on the car. I love my dancey club music.
Mm-hmm.
Turned that off. Drove all the way back, and all I could hear in my head was the Death March just ringing around in my head constantly. Because I thought, this is where I'm going to end up. Went to my mum and dad's, did the same story all over again. Went apoplectic with rage, absolutely screaming at me, going nuts. Yeah, got around a fox and everything all that, like, you know what I mean. But fought it, and they knew I was at rock bottom, so I knew I needed help. Everyone lost trust in me, and that's the biggest thing. Two biggest things you lose with addiction is trust and time.
Yeah.
The money is gone, and this I'll talk about that probably later anyway. But I found Gamblers Anonymous website. Found a meeting in Derby like the following Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So went back to the wife on the Saturday. Obviously she couldn't look at me, bear to look at me. She should have kicked me out, and that's it. Marriage over, really. But I had to rebuild she had to rebuild trust in me and stuff and all that. Like, I had to be acting like a kid again, with money. So pocket money, basically a couple of pounds during the day if I needed it. No cards on me or anything like that. Like, I have to be trusted again.
Yeah.
And she won't hold my hand for weeks. She'd walk in front of me or walk behind me for weeks, months. Oh. She didn't like the look of me. She disgusted in me and stuff and all like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, got to the GA meeting thinking no one's like me.
Yeah.
I'm crazy. I'm mental. I'm stupid. Then proceeded to be like a nodding dog. You know, the kind of ones you see in the back of cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, done that. When I'm listening to everybody's shares and had a week spin and stuff and all like that. Yeah, I've done that. Not me. Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, I've done that as well. And it took some time. I was drag kicking and screaming to the meeting thinking, no, I don't want it. But kept going back to these meetings because you always talk about, like, any meetings, GA, NA, AA. The hardest meeting to go to is the second one, the one you go back to. Because retention rate is really low. A lot of people turn up for the first time and then don't bother coming back.
Yeah.
I kept going back and I started to get better. Started to feel a bit better about myself. Every day I was getting away from gambling, taking it one day at a time. I've got it tattooed on my arm nowadays.
Oh, nice.
But I just cracked on with my recovery. I felt better. Work was getting better as well. Life was getting better. The debt was there, but I got drilled into my head early. Every day you go away with gambling, the debt's only going to go one way, and that's down. And that's so true. And that's the least of your worries. The most, obviously, we talk about a triangle of time, opportunity, and money, and all three of them come together, you're going to gamble. So it's all about making them barriers.
Wait, one more time? Can you repeat that?
Yeah, triangle, time, money, and opportunity. All three of them come together, you're going to gamble.
Cool.
It's all about breaking the link of that.
Yeah.
And the opportunity and the money side of it, you can with blocks in place and someone looking after your money. The biggest killer is time, because you have to replace that time that you gambled all that time. And this is where a lot of people, I think, struggle with the recoveries, because a lot of it's around boredom, a lot of it is around trying to recover that time in your life. So obviously I started to get fit. That was one of the main things for me. I got better along that way. I started to do a lot of running, went to the gym a lot and things, and started to be a father, because I was not a father for the first 3-4 months in my child's life. And I needed to learn to be that. Don't get me wrong, I had some horrific days bouncing off the walls. I remember Boxing Day over here is Boxing Day 2007. Boxing Day over here is a massive gambling day. Sports, for football, horse racing and stuff, and lots of big things around it. And my wife and my son, they'd gone down south to see family for the day, and I was left up here on my own with £20 in my pocket. And I wanted to gamble so bad. I was like bouncing off walls, climbing the ceilings and everything, and I didn't know what to do. But as someone who's addicted to something, you have to stay away. You have to think outside the box to make yourself not gamble or whatever. So I phoned up a Chinese takeaway and ordered £20 worth of Chinese.
Nice.
Got the money out of my pocket. Yeah, I might put a few pound on in weight, but it stopped me from gambling that day. And it got me through that day.
Nice.
Got my head on the pillow and I knew I hadn't gambled. And the next day I felt a lot better. My wife was with me and got my barriers up in place. I've got my blocks in place. And I kind of kicked on from there. Got to my first year, got my PIN. I was so proud of that. And my recovery just kept going on, stronger and stronger. Debt kept going down. And life got better. I've been blessed twice more with kids. Another one on Valentine's Day. One on Christmas Day.
Wow.
What are the odds of that?
That's wild, man.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? But wife stood by me through thick and thin, and I'm forever grateful for her, for Becky, just stay by me, and my family as well, in-laws, my mum and dad, my sister, my friends as well, and I've kept it quite close-knit, my recovery. I wasn't out there with it or anything like that fully for years, just I kept it close-knit to everybody. About 3.5 years ago, about 9 years into my recovery, I wanted to do something, share my story like this. I thought this is time to like come out and be clean about it and all. And I just did a vlog. I just did like a YouTube video instead of writing it down. I thought, sod this. I think it looks a bit more, looks good. It's like doing it face to face, like a video and stuff, and hopefully someone can relate to my story. Kind of took off really. It was all a happy accident, the vlogs. So I did the initial story, and it's got about 46,000 hits now.
Wow.
on the channel.
Nice.
And I thought, right, I'm gonna just do a pre-record every couple of weeks, show what I'm doing and what the story's like and how I'm doing. I've shown as if it was in a GA meeting, like how my week's been, what techniques I use and stuff and all like that. And I started to build up a bit of a following on YouTube, but more on Twitter as well. Started to get a lot of people message for help and stuff and all like that. To this day, since I started 3.5 years ago, I've had over 750 people message me for help throughout the world, which is quite massive for me on something that's quite niche on YouTube and stuff and all that. It's quite amazing, really.
Yeah.
I've been ever since I've started going live now. So after tonight, 8 p.m. UK time, I'm on live on my YouTube channel. I start to go fortnightly now. So it's like I just go live and to the world. So I build up quite a few people on the live chat who are gamblers, who are not gamblers. I might have one or two from the gambling industry as well who watch and sometimes comment as well. I've been, since I started my recovery journey online and stuff and all like that, I've done some educational work. I've done like corporate work with the gambling industry through charities and stuff and all like that. So doing my story, then doing a bit of a Q&A. I've had a lot of media requests as well over here. I've been on national television 2 or 3 times.
Wow.
Just like anything that comes up with gambling addiction or gambling over in the UK, more often than not I get called up or whatever. I pick and choose what I want to do, so to speak. I've done, like I say, corporate work in Gibraltar because a lot of the gambling companies are over there. So I've done bits over there. Gone to Belfast in Northern Ireland. I've gone around the UK doing stories and stuff and all like that. I had it in the Guardian, which is one of the national newspapers in the UK. I had a story in print with my photo, 700-word article and stuff and all that lot. So it's opened up massively, and I'm getting to the point now where I might want a bit of a career in like either doing something around recovery or doing something around education. Who knows? It's massive in the UK in a minute. It's a massive talk about responsible gambling and gambling addiction in the UK in a minute. And I'm kind of like knee deep in it, so to speak. I've just done an interview with the NHS in England, where they've just opened up the second gambling clinic in the UK in Leeds. So I'm part of the NHS kind of thing as well over here with it as well now.
Nice.
So that's quite awesome. Luckily, my local team I support, football, which is Derby County. They let me do the interview in the stadium and stuff. So I was walking around the stadium doing the interview, sitting in the seat and having like an interview for the NHS in there, which is great. So I had a bit of a media interest in that because 9 days later, my club signed Wayne Rooney. So
Yeah.
I've had a bit of a to and fro in with that as well. I've declined to comment on anything like that because I don't really want to get involved with stuff. Because our sponsor is a gambling company, so they've kind of like allegedly paid the wages for him to come over and stuff. So I've had a bit to do with that and stuff and all like that. But it is what it is. End of the day, it's water off a duck's back, so to speak. So, but yeah. Where I am now, I mean, I've got a normal full-time job. I work in logistics. I've got 3 wonderful children, one wife, cracking wife. Get to go on holiday every year. I was in New York last year with my wife. That was a dream I fulfilled without gambling.
Nice.
It was amazing to be able to afford that and get over there and do everything we ever dreamt of. And it was fantastic. We did a show down 42nd Street, Broadway.
What show did you see?
Aladdin. Went to see
Nice.
Aladdin.
I'm seeing that in
She
November.
loves Disney, my wife, so I had no choice in that matter. Not the biggest thing for me. We did everything: Times Square, Rockefeller, Empire State Building, went up to see Trump Towers and all that, Central Park, Statue of Liberty, Ground Zero and around there and stuff, 9/11 Memorial as well. Had steak and eggs for breakfast.
Nice.
We actually went to the movies as well. We thought we're going to go to the movies. Got in a yellow cab, did the subway, just did everything. It was outstanding. I was forever looking up all the time because everything's just massive.
Yeah.
So to speak. But it was an amazing experience to get over to America. Amazing time. But managed to afford to go on holiday every year. We're going on a cruise in 2 years' time as well. That's another dream fulfilled as well. We're happy with life. I'm happy with what we've got. I'm not greedy anymore. I'm a changed person. Like I say, I was quite a confrontation person.
Mm-hmm.
Old Andy still rears his head at times. I have to bite my lip a lot and stuff and all that lot, but that's all part of the recovery, so to speak. Don't go to my GA meetings as often as I like now. I've not been for a few months, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
But my recovery now, with the status I've got on my YouTube channel and stuff and all that lot, I'm kind of sharing my life anyway, and I've got a massive network of people on Twitter, social media, who I talk to if I do feel a bit down and out and stuff. I talk to industry. I'm quite happy with that. I'm not anti-gambling whatsoever. I think it should be two-way kind of conversation, dialogue, and have consensus and where we can move forwards with things as well.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. Industry can do more with their responsibilities and stuff. And I'm sure they'll say that as well. But I'm not a them versus us kind of person. I'm not really a campaigner anyway. Anti this, anti that. That's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I don't mind people doing it. It's up to them. It's not for me. I don't tend to agree with some of the stuff they do, but it is what it is. I'm in this kind of bubble now, so to speak, this gambling addiction bubble, and speak and talk, and I try and pull away with some of the stuff that I'm not really comfortable with, and I've learned to bite my lip at other things. Don't get me wrong, I rear up sometimes, and hold my hands up, but I think the main thing for me for recovery is taking personal responsibility of your actions.
Absolutely.
It's your recovery at the end of the day. No one else can do it for you. You have to be selfish. That's what, even though I get people messaging me for help and stuff, I always look after myself first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's selfish, but it's true in any parts of recovery. Take responsibility of your actions. I am to blame for what I've done. No one did it. No one made me place a bet. No one put money into a machine. No one put my card details into a poker site or a gambling site or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was down to me, end of the day. Sure, industry can do more, and we're looking at ways to make it even better with stuff over here in the UK. I'm sure it's going to get pretty big in the USA now as well with regards to sports books and stuff and all like that.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's my kind of recovery, really. So there you go.
Awesome, dude. That was great.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'll start out with the questions. This is I really enjoy the first off just speaking with someone who because I'm like a drug addict, so I have other issues, but it amazes me how similar just the feelings are between my addiction and your addiction. And just the feelings that you're talking about are the same feelings that I feel when I was in the hole, when I was in this depth of addiction. So I just wanted to say how cool it is. 'Cause I've just the few gamblers that we've had on this podcast, I can really relate to your guys' story. But
first drug to us as well.
Yeah.
And like I say, I've had drug addicts message me.
Mm-hmm.
I've had alcoholics message me, and I've had sex addicts as well, one or two as well. So addiction is addiction.
Exactly. It's all about the feelings, right?
And there's a lot of similar lines running through all of us, so to speak. We might recover in different ways, many fantastic ways, but addiction is pretty much the same kind of thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, first question I have, I'm actually I'm gonna start kind of where you kind of were talking about this at the end, and then I'll kind of work my way back. Now, you're kind of talking like I'm kind of in this transition right now with my recovery as well. I've done fellowship recovery before, and it's I'm at a point, and this is just me, where it's not really working for me like it used to. The social media is like, I mean, honestly, when I go on Twitter, that helps me more than going to a meeting, which a lot of people that are in a fellowship might disagree with, but for me, it's definitely, I get a lot more out of doing, talking to you and looking at Twitter than I do sitting in a meeting. So how has your recovery, because, you entered recovery in 2007 and social media and YouTube and all that stuff hadn't really taken off yet. Like, how has your recovery evolved since entering recovery?
It's gone like full circle, really. I mean, when I first started like my recovery, I needed GA every week. One meeting a week, probably 2 meetings a week sometimes. I needed like what I got out of it most out of GA. I wasn't even really a steps person, to be honest. The 12 steps or something like that.
Of course.
I was more wanting to be around people. I wanted to listen to people's lives, and they understood what I was going through because they're going through exactly the same thing. And I got more out of the interaction and like talking in a group, and it felt more real for me, if you know what I mean, instead of following probably 12 steps or all the literature involved around it, like GA and stuff and all that. Because for me, I think, like I say, we're talking about later on now, I don't go as much now. Don't get me wrong, I probably miss the people there and stuff. And but I feel like I'm all right, if you know what I mean now. I totally relate if people want to go for life and stuff and all that, and there's a lot of people who do that and swear by that, and that's fine by me. That's their recovery at the end of the day. Everyone's recovery is different. Some people didn't like GA. Some people can be quite put off by it as well because it is quite oldie-worldy, so to speak, with the literature and stuff and like talk of like higher power and things and all like that. And I've talked to a few people where it's putting them off, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That kind of like literature and talk and stuff and like that. And some people get put off by people like who are talking as if they're like being like know-it-alls and stuff and all that. But I think it's coming from the heart. I mean, I always push people to GA when they're struggling. I say, look, try GA, give it 90 days. It's a bit like like NA and AA. Give it 90 days,
of course,
and see how you feel with recovery. End of the day, it's down to you. They can't do it for you. But I say to them, surround yourself around people who are going through the same thing as you. GA is a perfect tool for you. I always swear by it for people. Always tell them to go there. It might not be. I just share it for my. I shouldn't say tell really and all like that. What I should say is, for me, I always tell them for me, it worked for me. Maybe work for you. If it doesn't, then there is other options. You've got counselling over here in the UK. You've got like GamCare as well, which is the National Gambling Helpline, and they do like one-on-one sessions and help and all that lot as well through counselling services. But obviously we've got the NHS now. We've got 2 gambling clinics in the UK, which is less than adequate really for the amount of gambling you can do over here.
Yeah.
But there is help out there. There is hope out there, and that's what I try and say to people. Look, it's down to you. No one can do it for you. I think the best thing for me with regards to recovery, you've got to be not bitter about what's happened and be resentful to like what you've done and stuff in the past, trying to blame everybody else, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to go back gambling. And I've seen it time and time again in like social media and Twitter and stuff and all that. And I'm like, I wanted like say, I want to give someone a shake, if you know what I mean, but I can't because end of the day, it's their recovery and I can't affect it. I'm always there for somebody, if you know what I mean. But and this is what I say to people on social media, like when they message me and stuff as well. I mean, for me, I never chase people.
Yeah.
If people message me, I'll respond back. But if they don't respond back again or don't want to connect again, that's fine. But I can't like make them do it. No one can make anyone do anything. End of the day, can't tell people what to do. If you know what I mean, it's that in recovery for me.
All right.
End of the day, yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, you're good. All right, I got a couple questions.
Yeah.
So Eric usually takes this question, but it's really about like triggers, and for addicts with like drug or alcohol problems, it usually comes in obviously through like the feelings or emotions, like what's going on in their lives. So are you more triggered, like what are your triggers, and does it center around like any like life circumstances? Like if you're stressed in life, are you more apt to try and act out on your gambling, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite long in the tooth in my recovery now, so I can never say never. I'll always say 99% certain I'll never gamble again. I just got to keep that 1% in check. I try and take myself out of situations. I mean, when I first come out with my YouTube and Twitter and stuff and all that lot, I got involved in all sorts of conversations and what our beliefs are and stuff. And I start to get a bit stressed out and stuff with regards to recovery and things and all that lot. I struggled with like the campaign side and kind of things and what their beliefs were and stuff. And I forever wanted to have a bite. And don't get me wrong, I shouldn't have really got involved and stuff, but that was kind of triggering me to like be that old Andy, if you know what I mean. Not to gamble, but just to be confrontational all the time and stuff and all that lot for confrontation's sake. And I didn't want to be like that anymore. And over time, especially in the last 6 to 12 months, I've kind of reined it in quite a lot. I've kind of like took a step back. It's kind of recovery in another sense, so to speak. I've blocked off certain accounts for my own recovery, really, because I don't want to like get angry. I don't want to get involved. And end of the day, I don't want to upset anybody else's recovery either, because I'm sure for me, they're probably feeling the same. They're getting like all caught up and stuff. And I don't want to affect their recovery at the end of the day. Because they may be struggling with gambling addiction. I don't want to fight with people.
Yeah.
If people want to believe what they want to believe, that's fine. I don't want to affect it. I don't want to affect them. And it's kind of a different recovery in another sense of like trying to stop arguing and trying to breathe. Don't do the first thing that comes into your head. Breathe and do the second thing, because that's usually the right thing to do.
Yeah. All right, and I have a follow-up question for that.
Yeah.
So in your early recovery, how did you deal with any compulsion or temptation to gamble? So how did you, in early recovery, like how did you deal with those triggers besides for like going to a meeting?
I talked to my wife, talked to my parents. Best thing you can do, and I tell to anyone who's in recovery, who's struggling, it's best to talk about it than to act on your urge.
Absolutely.
On that trigger, instead of like, I mean, I've had a few people recently who messaged me and they've got an urge to gamble and stuff. I went, you've done the best thing here, and they'll go, what? Is to talk, because, like you say, if you act on that urge, it's going to make it 100 times worse.
Yeah.
And best off talking about it and instead of doing, and it's fantastic to see to get through that day.
Yeah.
Get through that and to feel better for it. Open up, be honest, just keep talking about your feelings.
Yeah.
Even if it's not gambling related, if you're feeling low or you're feeling happy, talk about if you're feeling happy or low. My wife gauges me pretty well now when I'm feeling good and on top of the world and when I'm not, so to speak. In addiction, we're either high as a kite or low. We try and flatline in the middle.
Yeah.
Try and be boring. Try and do all the normal things.
Yeah.
Boring is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you.
That's probably my answer there, really.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Yeah, communication and just being able to open up and be vulnerable is absolutely just right up at the top of the list.
Yeah.
All right, Eric, what you got?
So you were kind of you were talking about like the trust with your wife and your family and how that was broken, and something kind of that I was thinking about when you were talking about that portion of your life was, do you ever feel that you fully regain that trust? Like, I don't know, I was thinking about it with like my family and, you know, my significant other and friends. You know, do you think you can ever actually regain that, or do you believe that there's always going to be this seed of maybe doubt in the back of their mind that this could happen again?
I think early on in recovery, that seed of doubt was always going to be there. First, I'd say first year or two, I'd say first 2 years, you always have that seed of doubt. Because obviously I was still getting like letters through the post and stuff, and my wife's like, "What's this? What's this?" And I'm trying to prove what it is. So I had to really be honest with absolutely everything I was doing and stuff. So with regards like even like going to the shop and buying something, I'll get a receipt for everything.
Yeah.
Try and prove that I'm trustworthy. I'm trying to prove that I'm honest and stuff and all like that. Over time, that trust does rebuild. It rebuilds slowly. I'm not going to say it's easy. I'm not going to say it's hard. And she was well within her rights. My parents were well within the rights to not trust me for months and months and months. There's always like something probably rear up about like a receipt or what's this? You've drawn £10 out or whatever and all that, like what for? But I always made sure I was honest about it, what I've done and stuff and all that. And over time, I do believe that trust fully restores. I mean, I'm 12 and a half years down the line now. I believe my wife completely trusts me now. My parents do. It's not a taboo subject either. Like I say, I'm wide open with it with my recovery as well. And I think the more wide open I've been, the more trustful I am, if you know what I mean. So I firmly believe life gets better. The trust 100% restores. Like I say, I can never say never, and that's another thing about it as well. I can never say never. I'm going to have a bet again, but for me, that's trusting as well. I'd rather be honest and say, look, I'm never certain, but I'm in a good place. I've got on whatever I need in front of me and stuff, and I like to help me through. And my days are far more good than bad now, and I feel like I'm a trustworthy person.
All right. All right. I want to go back to sort of like the end of your story a little bit when you had that like final admission and like came clean with everything with like your wife and your family. Was there more a sense of like guilt and shame when you came clean, or was there also like a sense of like relief and hope?
It was relief. It was relief. It felt everything, all the weight was off my shoulders. But the only problem was I put it on somebody else's. They've got all my shit now, so to speak. So I felt guilt and shame for that. I mean, I know a lot of people feel shame for what they've done, and a lot that like with other people's recoveries, people message me for help and stuff and all that. Like, a lot of people have shame, talk about their shame and things like that as well. And that's one of the big killers for them, really. But I felt a sense of relief. I felt hopeful when I hit that first GA meeting as well, and kept going back. That I was listening to people who were like, I had like 7-8 years off at that time, that first meeting. I'm thinking, there's no way I'm going to make it. If someone told me I was 12 and a half years gamble free now, well, back then, I'd have absolutely laughed them out there. I laughed them out the room, telling them they were joking and stuff and all that lot. But yeah, it was relief, and I knew I could kick on. I was at rock bottom, and I could rebuild my way back up. And it was a long, hard journey, but I've got there. I'll keep getting there, so to speak.
All right, and my last question that I got for you is, how humbling is it, like, to get to a place in your recovery where you have people coming to you for help, not just for gambling, but for all those other addictions? Like, how humbling is that, and how much does it reaffirm in your own, like, self-accountability and your accountability for others?
Yeah, it's unreal. It's so humbling. It's like, I never realised sometimes the impact you make. I've probably made as well. So we struggle as addicts to pat ourselves on the back, and I do that a lot more often now. I know I'm a good person. I know from what I believe in is right for me, and it's amazing that people message me for help or meet me or who want to talk to me and stuff. And I'm out there with my recovery, and it's great. People like take the time to say, "Look, Andy, your recovery has inspired me to stop or try to stop or try to change my life." And you hear things like that. I mean, one of the most humbling ones I ever had, and it's a quite a horrific one as well. I mean, it was like I was feeling quite low with my recovery, with my channel and stuff and all that. Like, thinking, why do I bother? And because I had a bit of stick and stuff and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, I got a message off a guy, and he goes, "Andy, your YouTube channel's amazing. 6 weeks ago, I was sitting on a bridge, ready to chuck myself in front of the next train. He thought, no, sod this. I need to get off. Went back home, got on the internet, looked for help, went on YouTube, found my channel, and he was 6 weeks clean. He started to go into GA, and half now he's recovery, still in recovery, he's doing well. And that's so humbling, it's so amazing to like the effect from like someone who's probably on the brink like that, to pull themselves away from that and be clean because of what I do on my vlogs. That was humbling. That was like I was like tearful that night. I was like someone chopping onions kind of thing. I was like,
Yeah.
That the impact there. If it helps one person, I was made up. It's all a happy accident. The vlogs.
Yeah.
And but I'm here to stay now. So there we go.
All right. And I have a quick. You brought up something in your response that like I just wanted to like touch on real quick. You talked about social media. Like, how important is social media to recovery, and like what are the positives of like having such connectivity between all addicts of all like nations and all of that? How
Whatever you do.
yeah, whatever you do, like having us all collectively be able to come together like that. How awesome is like social media recovery?
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Most of it's amazing, and it's connecting me with people that I never thought I'd dream to connect. Obviously, I've been lucky enough to share other podcasts as well. Like there's one called the After Gambling podcast, which is good. It's like 2 or 3 other podcasts have been on with regards to recovery as well. So it's connecting me with a lot of guys in America, and everything in general as well. Like I've messaged people from all over the world, and it's amazing to just like talk to people. I've actually met a few people as well, and who off Twitter and off social media, and it feels like a group, feels like a family, if you know what I mean. And it's put me, like I say, put my recovery to another level, if you know what I mean. And being out there and talking to people who either want to be anonymous or either not as well, and it shows that there is help and hope out there, and there's a lot of care out there. The stigma, it's breaking that stigma of any addiction.
Yep.
And I think social media has done a lot of that in the last few years.
Yeah.
With regards to drugs, alcohol, gambling, mental health as well. So much more awareness now than there ever was. And it's thanks to a lot part of the social media kind of activities and having like World Protection Days and stuff and all that. Like we have Responsible Gambling Week over here in the UK now. We have Flutter-free Februaries and things like that, and like little campaigns with regards to social media, and it's fantastic to see.
All right. Perfect. All right.
Nice.
Eric, take it.
All right. So we are now on the Twitter question topic, and you're actually the perfect person for this one. So this is from at AJAS_Maritas. So I'll read the question, and then we can all kind of answer, and discuss it. But so Merriam-Webster's third definition of leech is a hanger-on who seeks advantage or gain.
Ooh.
Is it fair to call the corporate people of gambling and alcohol industries leeches?
Ooh.
For me, I'm not really. Like I say, I don't. No, I disagree with that at a certain point, because I don't think it helps your own personal recovery in any way. The industries can do a hell of a lot more around addiction. I see the gambling industry obviously exploded over in the UK. I see it where they're trying to catch up, I think, with regards to responsible gambling and stuff and all that, like gambling addiction. I see them as like an oil tanker in a cul-de-sac trying to do a 3-point turn in the road. They're slow. It's kind of cumbersome. but I think they're getting there, so to speak. I'd say for the people I've met in industry, majority are right on board with it and trying to do stuff around it and stuff and all that lot. Because at the end of the day, they are legal industries and they've got to make a profit at the end of the day.
Of course.
There is going to be people who are going to get addicted to drink and alcohol, to drink and gambling. I'd rather them pick my brains instead of like trying to fight them, so to speak, and be your situation. It's a fight, so to speak.
Yeah.
To get to the right consensus. I think taking the middle road's the best way. I'm not anti this, anti that at all. The industry can do more, and I think they'll probably end up doing a lot more as well in the coming years. But I think you reach it through dialogue, reach it through working together, and I think you reach it through consensus and taking that middle way, taking the stable, correct way instead of like accusing each other of everything and stuff and all that lot. Because I'm sure there's some in the industry who couldn't give two fucks really, and I think there'll be a way and like probably like end up down a death, so to speak, with stuff like that. But I think the majority of the industry are getting there, and as long as we can go down that same path and that same road together, that'll be the best thing.
All right.
Me or you? Mary, do you want to go first?
I want to go.
Go ahead.
I want to play devil's advocate a little bit here, and do a little counterpoint. I'm going to say you can, in some instances, maybe like I don't know too much about the gambling industry, so I'll step away from that. This is also
the alcohol industry as well.
Exactly. I'm gonna loop one more in there. So the alcohol industry, like it's very tough because the alcohol industry, I don't see a lot of good that they bring to society. Like, and I'm not anti-alcohol, but like for me personally, I don't see the point in alcohol anymore. And like that's a part of my recovery. Is it just doesn't make sense to me anymore to go out and do that. But also the third one I want to link in there is Big Pharma. Because I think Big Pharma has a very big hand in the American opioid crisis right now, with how they marketed OxyContin and everything, and how they basically just pushed it, and they were never really held accountable for that, and I think there needs to be an accountability for that. But like ultimately, like if you're gonna gamble, you're gonna gamble. If you're gonna drink, you're gonna drink. If you're gonna do drugs, you're gonna do drugs. And I don't think any of those institutions are necessarily to blame. But I think there's some culpability in being able to call them leeches to an extent.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I'm not going to probably disagree with that. It's not the term that I would use, so to speak, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
With regards to like the gambling industry, I think they are moving towards a point of like a lot more accountability, a lot more responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
As I say, it's a slow burner, and I think they probably agree with that as well. That's just my opinion. But once again, I'd rather work with them than work against.
Yep.
They want to understand what goes through a gambling addict's mind. They want to know when they're probably on that call, when they're trying to block somebody, probably. What do I say here? What do I do here? Mm-hmm. How do I empathise with them? Where do I push them and stuff like that? Where do I push them to go? How do I talk to them and stuff like that? Because at the end of the day, as human beings, there's many thousands of people who work in the gambling industry who probably do care a hell of a lot, but probably need guiding, need a bit of training, need a bit of educating to how to respond to an addict's needs and addict's help, and try and spot them signs, try and spot them red flags. Because prevention is better than the cure, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. All right.
I'd rather work than work against.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. What do you got, Eric?
So, I guess if you look at it, I have 2 points on this. So for when it says a hanger on who seeks advantage or gain, I mean that's really business in general. I mean we could take this to, like soft drinks, like soda.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
okay, is there an advantage to people drinking soda? I don't think there's one health advantage at all.
No.
And if anyone thinks that there is, please DM me and
Yes.
show it to me, and I will take a look. But I doubt there is. You could do this with tobacco. You could do this with nicotine.
Oh, yeah.
You could do this with most food and beverage in at least America, which is mostly just processed shit.
Oh, yeah.
So I think, when it comes to business, you're always seeking advantage or gain. Mm-hmm. And, like you said with marketing, and being from a marketing background, you have to sell the product.
Yeah.
So it's not, part of your job as a marketer and advertiser is to influence people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always seem right, but that is their job. And it doesn't mean that they're bad people. That's just their job. But kind of to go back to your point of where alcohol is just, like you don't like alcohol. Well, when I was a kid and, let's say my sister did something wrong, but I also got punished because we both have to be punished. Just because you're drinking, like, didn't, marry up with the rest of the world's drinking.
Yeah.
Why does everyone else have to be punished for that?
Oh, yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, because people can gamble responsibly, people can drink responsibly, doesn't mean that everyone else has to be punished because we're fuck-ups.
Yeah.
I agree. That's where I'll take that point totally. Yeah. That's for me. That's probably where I'm coming at as well. Why should everyone else be punished for what I've done?
Yeah.
The majority of people. I mean, figures might be out of date over here, but 0.4% of the UK population's addicted to gambling, which is about 460,000, with potential of 2 million people potentially harmed. 40 million people, 50 million people either don't gamble or gamble within the means or gamble for fun, gamble responsibly. And they're absolutely fine with it. It's my problem at the end of the day. I know I can't. Mm-hmm. But why should I affect everybody else?
Yeah.
Because of me.
Yep. We are, quote unquote, the bad apples.
Yeah. The fuckers.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's all we got for you today, man.
Yeah.
We would like to thank our guest, Andy, for joining us today. We'll give you a golf clap.
There we go.
Thank you.
There we go. And Andy,
you were worried I was going to use the clap track again.
I was a little worried.
You were.
I don't feel like editing right now. So Andy, we're going to give you a second here to kind of like promote what you have going on. So, let us know where we can find you, any of your handles, any of that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. If you find my name, just Google my name or YouTube name as Andy Margett. That surname is Margett. Then you'll find me on there. Hit that subscribe. Every fortnight I'm live. Sometimes I've got a guest on with me as well. So it's just like live chat, and it's like a meeting in itself really. I'll be on for about half hour to an hour, depending on how I feel and stuff and all that. Do some pre-records as well. Also, you'll find me at Twitter most of the time. It's at BaronMad79. So that's BaronMad79. Feel free to message me in strictest confidence privately or publicly if you want to as well. I'm more than happy to chat and talk away and stuff and all that. Absolutely wide open. I tend to keep away from the Facebook because I like to keep that kind of private, so to speak, and my Instagram as well and all that. So yeah, best place to probably find me is on Twitter or my YouTube. Twitter, if you do end up following me, you'll probably find some bizarre tweets about me tweeting about football and me getting drunk, and probably seen photos of me in different states and like either doing a bit of running or I've had a beer or got a load of food on and stuff and all that. But yeah, Twitter or YouTube is the best place to find me, and I'm more than happy to talk at any time.
Cool.
All right. Well, again, thank you, Andy. Here at Podcast Recovery, we are aiming to expand the scope of support for recovering addicts. Accessibility and convenience of helpful services is paramount to combating addiction. We work to bring the message of recovery to every addict, wherever and whenever it is needed. We believe that a powerful voice of recovery should be obtainable, practical, and at the touch of a button. Every addict deserves to hear a message of hope, and Podcast Recovery is here to provide it. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. Follow us on Twitter. Check out our Instagram. Check out our guest Andy's vlog on YouTube. Most importantly, everybody out there, stay safe and stay clean.